Okay guys, George at SoundTraxx here, and we're back at the Workbench, and today we're going to talk a little bit about using two cube speakers and some of the things you need to do to handle the speakers properly. So first off, these speakers are just snapped into place into the enclosure, and one of the first things I like to do is to simply take some liquid plastic cement. Now this is a liquid plastic glue applicator, needle point, and as you tip it over, the glue comes out and you can control how much you put into it. Now these things, in my opinion, are invaluable. I use them all the time, but this way I can get glue exactly where I want it. But the liquid plastic cement will actually cement and kind of weld the plastic together. And so what I do is I just take a little bit of this. I've already pre-siphoned it into here. I just put a little bit along the edge to help secure it in place. And as you're going in, put a little bit along the sides. You don't necessarily need to do all four edges. I do it just because that way you can make sure we've got a good seal all the way across. Now we're going to do the same thing on the second one here. We're going to do just along the edge, just like that, and just a little bit. And the big thing about this thing is it manages how much you're putting in, so you don't have to put a lot. So the next question is when we're putting two speakers together, you can see they kind of repel each other a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a piece of just some strip styrene and our two speakers, of course, to try to glue them together. So what I usually like to do is to take the two speakers, set them here, and then I'm going to use a little bit more of my plastic cement, and I'm just going to glue the baffles together here on the side. Now when I'm doing this, I want to make sure that the side with the terminals is together on the same side, and then we're also doing this on a flat surface because the bottom of the speaker isn't, or the sides of the speaker baffle are not square, they're kind of at an angle, and so if you glue them together, your speakers can kind of come together like this a little bit in a V shape. It's subtle, but you can kind of see right here I can push my, oops, a little too much, but I can put my tip of my tweezers in between the bottoms there. But the thing is while this is drying, we do want to make sure we're holding it, because that way it doesn't come together and doesn't create the flat surface. Now one thing you could do is you could put a piece of tape over them and hold them together while they're gluing and drying. Probably be a smart idea. I didn't think about that ahead of time. But there you go. Now you can kind of see that they're secured together and they're not repelling each other because the plastic cement has kind of glued together. Now this can be forward to backwards, side to side like I'm doing here. But what we're going to do is we're going to use this scrap styrene to put a little bit of a reinforcement on the side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut a piece about as long as each of these sides, and we're basically going to glue it right there to the side. So we can hold that up against there just like that, and then we're going to put a little bit more of this plastic cement. Now remember, this is inside the model, so it doesn't necessarily need to be perfect. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we can, doesn't need to be perfect. Again, this is inside the model, so we're not going to see it. And then there you go. So now you have these little reinforcement pieces of styrene. You could also put a floor under here, so you could take like a piece of styrene. I don't have one here, so I'll use this piece of clear styrene, but you could put it on the bottom, depending on what your model space is going to be like. But this allows you to have your two speakers together. They're right next to each other, and then they're secured. So now you have this one speaker assembly, and now you're ready to wire it in, just like that. So, guys, I hope this little tip has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, give us a email at support@soundtraxx.com, and we will help you out and help answer any questions for you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.